Let's take a look at what we're asking you to engage us on this morning. But before we get to that, are we not quite ready with that question of the day? So let's go on to our news diary. And these are some of the stories that we'll be tracking. President Cyril Ramaphosa, he's expected to deliver the eulogy at the special official funeral for struggle stalwart John Kadimeng this morning.
ANC MP Bongani Bongo is expected back in the High Court in Cape Town today for a pre-trial hearing on charges of corruption related to allegations that he tried to bribe the evidence leader in the 2017 parliamentary inquiry into state capture at Eskom.
Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize and Cuban Ambassador to South Africa Rodolfo Benitez Verson are today expected to give an update on the role played by the Cuban doctors who've been deployed in various provinces to assist the fight against COVID-19.
Here's your numbers you need. 24-hour hotline for coronavirus 0800 029 999. It's government operated, and also the WhatsApp line is 0600 123 456.
Right, those numbers still there for you. Let's take a look at the provincial breakdown of those statistics. Gauteng, number of positive cases for COVID-19, 195,820. KwaZulu-Natal, 102,233. The Western Cape, just over the 100,000 mark there, 100,976. Eastern Cape, 83,002. Free State, 30,049. Northwest Province, 22,483. Mpumalanga has 20,111 cases, Limpopo 11,019, and the Northern Cape 7,122. Total number of positive cases of COVID-19 in South Africa 572,865, and the number of new cases as of yesterday 3,946.
All right, just looking at the global picture quickly, 20.6 million is where we're at now in terms of infections, 226,000 added yesterday, and the death toll is at 749,000. The recovery rate, 12.8 million. As you can see, South Africa is still in the top 5 countries in terms of the infection rate. The death toll, we are still, managing to keep it at a reasonable level if you have to compare us to the top countries, and that would be the United States, who are sitting now at 169,000 deaths, and Cuba, I beg your pardon, Brazil is at 105,000 as well. So India with us, 47,000 in the top 5, and Russia at 15,000. So that's just a snapshot of what's happening around the world.
And here we have that question of the day for you now. We're asking you this morning, what are your thoughts on UDM leader Bantu Holomisa's view that cabinet should be dissolved and replaced by a caretaker government? And he believes that this should take place until 2024 elections. So tell us what your views are at Morning Live SABC and hashtag Morning Live. We'll share those comments with the rest of the country later on.
All right, let's talk about some trending topics now. When you have a look this morning, you'll still see Gigaba's trending, and this, of course, is the Public Enterprises, former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba, former Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba. Now, what happens was a former driver for Gigaba testified at the commission, and he believes some of the tailor suits worn by Gigaba were paid for with cash from the Gupta family. This was another allegation made against him. The driver, whose identity was kept hidden, says he was instructed by Gigaba to keep visits to the Gupta compound in Saxonwold a big secret, and also saying after visiting the Gupta residence, the driver said Gigaba would often head into Sandton to buy suits. So that appears to be what everybody's talking about, even though there was a lot more that was said at the commission yesterday. But Gigaba seems to have stolen the attention once again there.
Yeah. And of course, Leanne, as you say, a lot more coming out of the commission. The drivers, protection officers for not just Gigaba, but also for Anoj Singh, Brian Molefe, Siyabonga Gama. And remember, they were all related with Eskom or Transnet at the time. And of course, the portfolio that Malusi Gigaba headed up at the time. And the drivers talking about the cash You know, how people would come to the Gupta residence and exchange cash, and it was all done in cold hard cash, just these wads and stashes of money and bags being taken from here to there. And yeah, absolutely fascinating. Reminiscent of the Agritzi testimony of how cash was
just
king.
being thrown around. And also, you know, just to wrap up on the Gigaba one, you know, a lot of the witnesses who, as we say, have wanted to remain anonymous, saying that their lives are in danger. One saying he received an SMS that he should stop giving evidence or your family won't find a piece of you. And this is some of the things that were coming out yesterday. But that's all related to Gigaba trend. Lockdown SA, you know, obviously we as South Africa find ourselves now in day 141 of the national lockdown. But there's of course the talk that we'll find ourselves loosening up and going up to level 2, whether or not or when that's going to happen. We're still not having any confirmation, but there are definite strong sentiments out there that we'll start seeing perhaps alcohol opening up, the sale of tobacco opening up, interprovincial travel, who knows? Everybody's talking and guessing at the moment, so we wait to hear from the president. But certainly when these rumblings start getting louder and louder, we usually do hear something.
Indeed we do. And then the final one, R.I.P. Bob Mabena, and this of course icon of a broadcaster who passed away this week. And there was a virtual memorial service, not virtual, well there was a memorial service, but virtual part of it, of course, because of COVID-19 as well. And yes, as South Africa continues to just fondly remember the great broadcaster that was Bob Mabena.
All right, let's leave our trending topics and go into the headlines. Let me bring you those details.